Hey everybody, David here, and this is another weekly update for what's going on in my world. So this is for week 39, September 28th to October 4th. Now the first thing I want to go over is a couple really nice things that are in the weekly grab bag, and the first one is from a guy named. So actually, we have two things from two different Stevens this week. So the first is from a Steven that's had a very bad experience. The first time he ever played Dungeons and Dragons or another tabletop game. And I actually remember Steven in the Twitch channel several months back, and he was saying, yeah, he had a bad experience and how he was going to give up. And you know, not only myself, but the whole chat, the whole community was telling him, hey, don't let one bad experience ruin the whole, the future of you playing tabletop games. Don't let that ruin it for you. So he sent me a message on YouTube and said, hey Dave, I just want to thank you so much for what you do. And he says, my name is Steven, but I go by Bad News Balls on Twitch. And I remember Bad News Balls in chat that night. He says, watching you play, your enthusiasm and encouragement for me to continue playing D&D after my first bad experience has led me to a group that is out of this world. We have so much fun together, and we're even doing a podcast. That's awesome, man. If it wasn't for you, I think I would have just probably given up on D&D altogether. He says, thanks so much, my friend, and keep up the amazing work. Much respect, Steven. I remember that, Steven. I totally remember that. And I'm glad that you didn't give up on it, because the tabletop game genre needs a lot more players than what it currently has. I mean, I think it's growing, but it's not growing to the pace of like video games. I mean, video games, the amount of players video games has is probably just astronomical. So, we are a small niche group of people that love to play tabletop games and love to roll dice. So, whenever somebody has run away from the genre, is just I hate to hear that. And I also hate to hear when dungeon masters promote, whether it be on a forum such as Roll20 or on Fantasy Grounds or any other platform that says, no new players. But that's very rare. You very hardly ever see that. But when you do, it just makes you cringe because, everybody was new at something at some point. So, everybody deserves to have at least a shot on playing something. So thanks again, Steven. This is a really nice message from YouTube. So the next thing I got was from another Steven. The first Steven is Steven with a PH. The next one is a Steven with a V. So this Steven is a little bit confused about how Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition multi-classing and spellcasting works. So he has a sorcerer that's going to be level 5, coupled with a bard that's going to be level 6. So he thought that these 11 levels total were going to give him, higher level spells, level 6 spells. So he would be able to cast sorcerer level 6 spells and bard level 6 spells. But that's just not, unfortunately, the way it works, because for the players that are going one true class, they're the ones that are going to be able to do that. So I'm going to dedicate my DM workshop this Wednesday to the pretty much the entire thing to multi-classing and spell casting in particular. I've done something with multi-classing already, but I'm going to dedicate this particular workshop with just spell casting. So it'll go over how you add up your levels, look at the special multi-classing spell list. But this is only if you're worrying about multi-classing with multiple spell casting classes. If you just are going fighter cleric, you're not going to have any problem whatsoever. But it's when you start mixing up the Eldritch Knight with the Ranger, or the cleric with the the Paladin. That's when there's some rules involved with hybrid classes for specialty classes, and you're going to have to do a little bit of math there, but it's really no problem. And we're going to go over all of that stuff this Wednesday on the DM workshop. So that'll be at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Wednesday. So anyways, Steven, I already did a reply to him and kind of put everything out for him. to where he's only going to be able to really cast third level spells for each one, but he can also upgrade the ones that he has up to level 5 or level 6 for the amount of spell slots he'll be able to have. So it gets a little confusing, but no problem. I'll explain everything Wednesday night. So if you have a question about anything like that, save it Wednesday night and come to the DM workshop, and I'll be able to answer it then. So, all right. So that was a weekly grab bag. Thank you guys. Thanks, Stevens, for that. If you guys missed the Doug Davidson interview last Wednesday, man, you guys really missed a great interview. Doug is a great guy. He cares a lot about Fantasy Grounds. He told us all about the history of Fantasy Grounds, how he purchased it, how he went in, eventually with another person, and how Fantasy Grounds had gone from where it was in the darkness, a couple 6-7 years back to where it is now. Now being sponsored by Wizards of the Coast, having a license, all these other companies. It's awesome to see the turnaround that Fantasy Grounds had from very little support to where it is now. I mean, it's awesome. And another thing about the interview with Doug Davidson is he told us a lot about the new Fantasy Grounds 3 or Fantasy Grounds X, whatever they decide to call it. He couldn't go into a whole lot because I don't blame him. He wants to keep a lot of things secret from the competitors out there. The virtual tabletop game industry is starting to become very competitive. And I really think that Fantasy Grounds is going to hit it out of the park. And I'm really excited to see what the future entails for the Fantasy Grounds platform. And they're going to do a Kickstarter to kick it off, which is going to be very good. So you're going to be able to donate pretty much any amount of money. As long as you have an Ultimate license, you'll be able to donate any amount and upgrade to the free platform, to the new free platform, which I think is great. And plus, I'm sure there will be a lot of Kickstarter goals and stuff like that. So I'm really excited to see that coming out in 2016. So I don't think it's going to be too much farther away. I mean, it sounds like they're really making a lot of progress on it. It seems like they're really they're really starting to get down to the end here. Really excited. So, and also thank you to all of the people on the Fantasy Grounds forums. You guys have been really nice. I put a post in there a couple weeks ago promoting the interview, and the Fantasy Grounds community is really awesome. And just like the Roll20 community is really awesome, those two communities together, I mean, it's really helping the tabletop game genre. I mean, believe it or not, I mean, it truly is. It's enabling people to play tabletop games that don't have the D&D encounter stores or any type of game store in their area. So it's nice to see the strong communities that these virtual tabletop platforms have, and it's such a great thing for us to have. I mean, it really is. So this is also going to lead up to another thing that I'd like to do. I'd like to start doing a monthly community spotlight for a maybe one of the coders, like maybe Trenlo, or just to get more perspectives on Fantasy Grounds, and have them come into TeamSpeak, or maybe if they don't want to, do that, so maybe we can, get on Skype, or maybe just maybe send some questions to these other programmers and developers of Fantasy Grounds, because there's a lot of very, very, very intelligent people that contribute to the modifications and add-ons and extensions and everything else that you can modify Fantasy Grounds with. So I'd like to do every month, I'd like to do a community spotlight and bring one of those people on. I think that would be pretty cool to see what they, see their take on Fantasy Grounds, and see what they're working on to help modify Fantasy Grounds. So I think that would be a pretty darn cool thing to do. So we'll start that probably in the next couple months. So all right, so that was everything with Fantasy Grounds. You guys, like I said, the interview was unbelievable last week with Doug. It was such a great time. Now I'm going to be on a podcast / radio show this week on Saturday called Shane Plays. And you guys know Shane. He stopped in. He stopped in all the time. He stops in. Big sci-fi guy, and I'm going to be on his radio show / podcast, and that's going to be this Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time or 1 p.m. Central, and it's going to be on Little Rock 96.5 FM, and also you'll be able to listen to it live streamed via the web at 965fmtheanswer.com. So 965fmtheanswer.com, and also it'll be on Little Rock 96.5. And we're just going to talk about tabletop games, I would think. So I'm looking forward to it. Shane's a good guy, and hopefully he'll be able to get into one of my games in the future as well. So that's going to be leading us up to the big event for this week, and that is going to be the Extra Life charity event that I'm going to be doing in partner with Wizards of the Coast. I've joined the Wizards of the Coast team, and Wizards of the Coast is the number one team right now on Extra Life for money raised. So I've set a $250 goal, and I think that can be achieved. And like I said, all of the proceeds that are raised during my 24-hour stream are going to go to the Arnold. It's going to go to the Arnold Palmer Children's Hospital of Florida. And some kids are not as fortunate as others, and it helps to have a place like Arnold Palmer's where they can go along with their parents and get the support and the medical attention that they need. And I'm very happy to do this, and I'm going to continue to do this from here on out. I think it's a great thing to do. And like I said, it's going to be from noon to noon, Thursday going into Friday, and then Wizards of the Coast is going to have their big 48-hour where they rotate in groups of people. They're going to go Friday to Sunday. So I'll be going up to 24 hours ahead of time. So we're going to be playing two games pretty much the entire time. We're going to be playing the Out of the Abyss game, and we're going to be playing the Princess of Apocalypse to keep it in theme with D&D 5e. I will not have a Pathfinder game this week, and there is a possibility I may not have Titan's Grave this week. In fact, I do have the Titans game called as of right now. We will be playing Titan's Grave, but it just depends on how I'm feeling after that 24-hour stream. I have this radio interview and stuff like that, so there's a chance that there may not be a Titan's Grave game this week. But even if we don't, things are going to be back to things will be back to normal next week. So during this event, we're going to be playing 4 shifts. We're going to be playing noon to 6 p.m., 6 p.m. to midnight, midnight to 6 to noon. And I have so much support from my players. I mean, I put a post up on the forums, and I have had such an overwhelming response from everybody. It's just been overwhelming. I mean, going into this, by myself, I was thinking, man, I'm going to have to pull all these people out of the stream, and it's going to be so time consuming to try to find players. And I'll tell you what, my players, man, you guys are amazing. I've had so many people, like Wormfood and Velcor and Jub and Miss Scarlet, and they want to help with the entire 24 hours, which is great. And then I have a lot of people that can't, which is totally cool. Torque's going to be able to be there. Wee Willie's going to be able to help out. I mean, it's just so, crazy ass gaming's going to be there. I mean, there's going to be so many people that's going to be able to help me with this. It's going to be unbelievable, and we are going to have so much fun over this 24-hour period. I just hope that I just don't fall out. I hope I don't, but I think everybody will keep me motivated enough. But we'll be taking short little breaks. Every hour we'll take like probably about a 5-minute break, because when I did that the last couple 24-hour streams I felt that it helped me keep the juices flowing and stuff. Then every 6 hours when we rotate games, we'll go ahead and take an extended half-an-hour break. But that's for the players. But for me, I'm not going to get a lot of breaks, because I have to make sure everything's moving along. So I'm going to try to have all kinds of games, giveaways. I'm going to try to do giveaways every hour. I'm going to try to do, I'm trying to do a lot of things at one time. So I'm going to try to do games. I'm going to try to give away things. Wizards of the Coast has sent me some swag in the mail. Hopefully I'll get that in time. So all of the contributors, hopefully, I'll be able to send them at least one of those real nice D&D logos, stickers. Hopefully I'll be able to do that. So, but anyways, lots going to be going on. And, it's not going to be your typical 4 solid hours of gaming. There's going to be a lot of times where we stop and talk, just probably just take a break for a little bit and talk. And if somebody contributes to the fundraising, then I'm going to acknowledge that. And so we will be stopping quite a bit. So I just want to let everybody know in advance that it's not going to be a solid 24 hours of just non-stop balls to the wall gaming. It will definitely be 24 hours of D&D, but there's going to be a lot of things going on in between. And I'm sure you guys are understanding of that. So thank you again to my players. I totally appreciate it. You guys, thanks so much for wanting to help out. I mean, I really appreciate it. So, like I said, there will be no Pathfinder game this week on Thursday. Tomorrow, I'll be doing a DM workshop for D&D 5th edition. We'll be talking about multi-classing with multiple spellcasters. All right. I don't want to say it's very confusing rules, but it can get a little confusing. But we'll hammer all that stuff out tomorrow. I'll break out the old whiteboard and we'll kind of get everything that way. I like to do stuff visually like that. All right, so Friday we won't have a Princes of Apocalypse game on Friday at 8 because I'll be sleeping. I will definitely probably be sleeping by that time. But we'll be playing Princes of Apocalypse for 12 hours anyway, that same day and the day before. So Saturday, Titan's Grave, 4 p.m. There's a chance that I may not do that game. Don't also forget I'll be on Shane Plays, and that is going to be at 965fmtheanswer.com, and that's going to be at 1 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Eastern, and we'll be on there talking about tabletop games, Dungeons and Dragons, Pathfinder, Numenera, all kinds of stuff. So then don't forget, guys, Sunday we will be playing D&D 5e Out of the Abyss again. So lots of stuff going on this week, guys. Very, 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 very busy week. Also next month, I'm going to be doing a fundraiser for Torquemada. You guys know Torquemada. He's in my Princes of the Apocalypse game. Well, just recently, last couple months ago, he was diagnosed with cancer. So he's been going through treatment, been going through chemotherapy for that. I wish nothing but the best for Torque. I like Torque a lot. Great guy. He's been around since the very start. And I also want to do a 24-hour fundraiser for him as well. I kind of broke the news on him during the game last week, so I hope it didn't make him mad or anything like that. But I like Torque a lot, and I feel that the community can come together because that stuff's not cheap, guys. I mean, that stuff is not cheap. So we'll see if we can bang a few bucks together for Torque next month and help him with his all of his medical expenses, because I know they're probably through the roof. So, all right. So get better, Torque. Get better, man. So I think that's going to be about it for me this week. I'll have some stuff coming up later on down the line for a couple more Wizards of the Coast interviews towards the end of the year. I think that's probably going to be it. So, anyways, guys, thanks again. I appreciate it. Thanks again to all my players for coming together for this 24-hour charity event. Totally appreciate it, guys. I couldn't, literally, guys, I wouldn't be able to do this without you guys. I wouldn't. There's no way that I'd be able to do a 24-hour game with, just viewers, trying to get that coordinated. That would just be crazy. So thanks to all my viewers. Thanks to all my players for wanting to do this. I appreciate it, everybody. You guys are great. Makes it worthwhile doing something like this. So, all right, I'll see you guys next week. So leave a comment down below, like the channel, tweet it out. see you then.